I sat across the dinner table, fork frozen halfway to my mouth. My sister Emma spread her tablet across the linen tablecloth, her engagement ring catching the chandelier light. Our mother leaned in, reading glasses perched on her nose. "Look at this pricing strategy," Emma said, fingers sliding across the screen. "Weekend rate $450, weekday $320. I've already collected $8,400 in deposits for June through August. My beach cottage. The one I'd bought 3 years ago with my nursing salary. The place where I'd spent every weekend painting walls, refinishing floors, replacing the deck boards one by one." Emma had never even been inside. "The wedding venue wants $12,000 up front," Emma continued. "But with these bookings we're covered. Ryan's parents can stop acting like we're asking them for charity." Mom clasped her hands together. "Emma, this is brilliant. The cottage just sits there anyway. Just sits there. I lived there every weekend. My shifts at the hospital ran Tuesday through Thursday, 3 12-hour days that left me exhausted. Friday evenings I'd drive the 43 miles to the coast, unlock the door and breathe salt air until Monday morning. But I said nothing. I cut my chicken into smaller pieces and chewed slowly. First guests arrive Saturday," Emma said. "A family from Ohio. 4 nights at $1,400. They want to use the kayaks." "I didn't own kayaks." "How did you get access?" Mom asked. "To list it, I mean." Emma waved her hand dismissively. "I used the photos from Sarah's Facebook. Wrote the description myself. The address is public record. Easy." My phone buzzed in my pocket. I excused myself to the bathroom, locked the door and opened the notification. Property guard alert. Unauthorized listing detected for 847 Coastal Highway. Listing platform, Airbnb. Immediate verification required. Property guard. The monitoring service I'd enrolled in after reading about vacation rental fraud. $20 a month to scan every major platform for my address. I'd set it up and forgotten about it. I opened my laptop when I got home at 9:30. The listing was professional. Emma had stolen my Facebook photos from last summer. The ones where the morning light hit the windows just right, where the deck looked weathered and authentic. She'd written charming descriptions about coastal living and authentic beach experience. 5-star reviews already, though the cottage had never hosted a single guest. Fake reviews. She'd either bought them or convinced friends to post them. I clicked through the booking calendar. 12 reservations. Every weekend from June through September. Memorial Day weekend alone showed 3 nights at $1,350. The deposit total, $8,437. I could have called her. Could have sent a furious text. Could have driven to her apartment and demanded she take it down. Instead, I screenshot everything. The listing. The calendar. The fake reviews. The pricing. I saved it all to a folder labeled Evidence, and titled the subfolder Emma under Fraud under 52024. Then I contacted Property Guard's Fraud Division. The response came within 40 minutes. Property Guard didn't just monitor listings. They had partnerships with major platforms and legal teams specializing in vacation rental fraud. The representative, Marcus Chin, asked me to forward everything. "This is textbook fraudulent listing," he said over the phone. "She's collecting money for a property she doesn't own, providing fake reviews and misrepresenting amenities. That's wire fraud. The bookings are interstate commerce." "What happens now?" I asked. "We flag it with Airbnb immediately. They'll freeze the account pending investigation. But here's the issue, she's already collected deposits. Some guests may have paid in full. We need to coordinate with law enforcement because once money crosses state lines for fraudulent purposes, it becomes federal." I felt my chest tighten. "Federal? Your sister is running a scam operation. This isn't a misunderstanding. She created a sophisticated fraud scheme. She needs to understand the severity before the first guest arrives and calls the police themselves." That night I didn't sleep. I thought about Emma at 7 years old playing with my toys without asking. Emma at 16 borrowing my car and returning it on empty. Emma at 24 asking to borrow $3,000 for her apartment deposit, money I never saw again. I'd always let it go. Family, right? You forgive family. But this wasn't borrowing. This was stealing from strangers using my property. This was fraud. Property Guard moved fast. By Wednesday, they'd coordinated with Airbnb's Trust and Safety Division. By Thursday, they'd contacted the local police and the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. Emma's account was frozen. The deposits were held pending investigation. Friday morning, I got the call from Detective Laura Morrison. "We'd like you to be present when the first guests arrive," she said. "Saturday at 2 p.m. We'll have officers on scene. Property Guard is sending their legal counsel. We want your sister there too." "She doesn't know any of this is happening," I said. "Good. Don't tell her. We need to document her response when confronted with evidence." I texted Emma, "Hey, want to come to the cottage Saturday? Haven't been in a while. Could use help cleaning the deck. 2 p.m. She responded within minutes. "Can't. Have plans." I tried again. "Mom said you've been stressed about the wedding. Come out. Ocean air helps." "Fine. 2 p.m. But only for an hour." Saturday arrived with clear skies and a steady breeze. I got to the cottage at 1:30. 2 police cruisers were already parked 3 houses down. An unmarked sedan sat in the driveway next door. Detective Morrison and a woman in a sharp gray suit. "Sarah." The woman extended her hand. "Jennifer Oakes, Property Guard Legal. Thank you for coordinating this." "The guests?" I asked. "Confirmed arrival at 2:10 p.m. The Hendersons, family of 4 from Cleveland. They paid $1,400 for 4 nights. They think they're checking into a charming beach rental." My stomach turned. "They're going to be devastated." "They'll get full refunds plus compensation," Jennifer said. "Airbnb is covering it. But they need to see what happened. Attempted check-in to a fraudulent listing. That's when the crime becomes tangible." Emma's car pulled up at 1:58 p.m. She climbed out wearing yoga pants and a sweatshirt, clearly annoyed. I waved from the deck. "Why are we doing this?" she called. "I have a cake tasting at 4. "Just wanted to hang out," I said. "Haven't seen you much." She trudged up the steps, phone in hand. "Make it quick. Ryan's waiting." At 2:11 p.m., a silver minivan pulled into my driveway. Emma glanced over. "You have friends coming?" The van's doors opened. A man in his 40s stepped out, followed by his wife and 2 children under 10. The kids were already pointing at the ocean, excited. The man approached the deck, smiling. "Hi. We're the Hendersons. Our check-in time was 2 p.m. but we're a few minutes late. Traffic through Portland was brutal." Emma's face went pale. "What? The Airbnb?" Mrs. Henderson said, confused. "We booked 4 nights. Confirmation number." She pulled out her phone. "There's been a mistake," I said carefully. "This property isn't available for rent." Mr. Henderson's smile faded. "What do you mean? We have a confirmed reservation. We paid $1,400. He showed me his phone, Emma's listing, his confirmation, his receipt. Emma grabbed my arm. "Sarah, what is this?" The unmarked sedan pulled into the driveway. Detective Morrison and Jennifer Oakes stepped out. 2 uniformed officers emerged from the cruisers parked down the street. "Mr. and Mrs. Henderson," Jennifer said, approaching with identification. "I'm Jennifer Oakes, legal counsel with Property Guard. I'm very sorry, but you've been the victim of a fraudulent rental listing." Mrs. Henderson's hand went to her mouth. No, we saved for this trip for a year. You'll receive a full refund plus $500 in travel vouchers," Jennifer said quickly. "Airbnb is covering everything, plus we're arranging alternative accommodations at no cost. But we need you to understand, the person who created that listing doesn't own this property." All 4 of them turned to look at Emma. I didn't." Emma stammered. Detective Morrison stepped forward. "Emma Carson." Emma nodded, her face ashen. "I'm Detective Morrison. I need to speak with you about the Airbnb listing for 847 Coastal Highway. You created that listing on April 19 using photographs taken from Sarah Carson's Facebook account. You've collected deposits totaling $8,437 from 12 separate bookings. Is that correct?" "It's her cottage," Emma said, pointing at me. "It's just sitting empty." I thought. "Do you own this property?" Detective Morrison asked. "No, but do you have written permission from the owner to list it for rent?" Emma looked at me, desperate. "Sarah, tell them. Tell them it's fine." I met her eyes. 3 years of mortgage payments. Countless weekends of repairs. My refuge from 12-hour shifts and hospital chaos. My place. I never gave you permission, I said quietly. The procedural process unfolded with mechanical precision. Detective Morrison read Emma her rights, not because she was under arrest but because the interview needed to be legally sound. Jennifer Oakes documented everything. The fake reviews Emma had purchased from a service called Review Boost for $240, the calendar showing all 12 bookings, the $8,437 in deposits collected. The Hendersons sat on my deck steps, their children crying, their vacation destroyed. Airbnb's emergency team called them within 20 minutes. New accommodations confirmed, an oceanfront condo 3 miles away, upgraded, fully covered. But the damage was done. They'd remember this. Emma called our mother. Mom, you have to fix this. Tell them I didn't know it was illegal. Tell them Sarah said it was okay. I heard Mom's voice through the speaker, frantic and defensive. Sarah, what have you done to your sister? What I'd done. Not what Emma had done, committed wire fraud across state lines. Not the 12 families she'd scammed. What I'd done by refusing to be stolen from. Mom, I said, taking Emma's phone. Emma created a fake rental listing for property she doesn't own. She collected nearly $9,000 in deposits from people across the country. The FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center has been notified. This isn't me doing something to her. This is Emma facing consequences for fraud. Silence. Then, she's your sister. How can you let them treat her like a criminal? She's a criminal, Mom. She committed a crime. I handed the phone back to Emma and walked inside. Through my window, I watched Jennifer Oakes explain the legal exposure. Wire fraud carried penalties of up to 20 years. Each booking was a separate count, 12 counts of interstate wire fraud. The fake reviews added charges of computer fraud and identity theft. She'd used my photos without permission, copyright violation. She'd misrepresented property ownership, real estate fraud. Emma sat on the deck stairs, head in her hands, shoulders shaking. Detective Morrison approached me inside. We're not arresting her today. The district attorney will review everything and decide on charges. But Property Guard and Airbnb want restitution. She needs to return every dollar. She already spent it, I said. The wedding venue deposit. Then she'll need to find $8,437 or face criminal prosecution. The venue will have to refund her. This is non-negotiable. By 4 o'clock, everyone had left except Emma. She sat on my deck staring at the ocean. I brought her a glass of water. You need to call the venue. Ryan will call off the wedding, she whispered. You committed federal crimes to fund a party. It wasn't a crime. You weren't even using the place. I sat down beside her. I use it every weekend. Every single weekend. This is my home. Your home. You have a home. An apartment in the city. This is just extra. And there was the belief that had driven everything. If I had extra, it was hers. My second property meant her wedding fund. My savings meant her apartment deposit. My possessions meant her convenience. I need you to understand something, I said carefully. I work 60 hours a week. I skip dinners with friends to save money. I haven't taken a vacation in 4 years. I bought this cottage because I earned it. Because I planned for it. Because I wanted it. You're so selfish, Emma said. I stood up. You need to leave. Sarah. Get out of my house. Call the venue. Return the money. Hire a lawyer. But get off my property. She left without another word. The ghost ledger came later when I finally sat down with whiskey and spreadsheet software. I titled it, The Cost of Being Family. Age 16. Lent Emma my car for emergency. Returned on empty, dent in bumper. Cost $340 repair never repaid. Age 22. Borrowed $3,000 for apartment deposit. Never repaid. Cost $3,000 plus interest I could have earned. $240. Age 25. Used my credit card for temporary furniture purchase. Missed payments damaged my credit score. Cost. Higher interest rates for 7 years, approximately $4,200. Age 28. This cottage fraud. Deposits collected, $8,437. Emotional damage. Watching strangers' children cry because their vacation was destroyed by my sister's crime. Total financial cost, $16,217. Total emotional cost, every family dinner where I smiled and pretended it was fine. Every Christmas where I bought her generous gifts while she gave me drugstore candles. Every birthday she forgot. Every achievement she diminished. Every time Mom said, "Just let it go. She's your sister." The cost of being family was myself. My boundaries. My peace. My property. My truth. I saved the ledger and closed my laptop. 3 weeks later, I received documentation from Property Guard. Emma had returned all deposits through a payment plan. The venue refunded her, Ryan's parents loaned her the remainder. Airbnb had permanently banned her from the platform and flagged her information with other rental services. The DA declined criminal prosecution in exchange for full restitution, a written apology to all 12 families, and 100 hours of community service. The wedding was postponed indefinitely. Ryan's parents had questions about character. Mom stopped speaking to me. I sat on my deck on a Friday evening in July. The ocean stretched gray-blue to the horizon. Sailboats dotted the water like distant birds. The wood beneath me was smooth from sanding, sealed with fresh stain. My phone showed no messages from family. My calendar showed no obligatory dinners, no guilt-laden holidays, no requests for small favors. The silence was clean. I'd spent years believing family meant absorption, that their needs absorbed my resources, their wants absorbed my boundaries, their feelings absorbed my truth. I'd confused love with erasure. But watching Emma lie to strangers, steal from travelers, use my home as her personal bank, that killed something. Or birthed something new. I didn't want her to hurt. I wanted her to realize what she'd lost. Not the cottage she never owned. Not the wedding fund she stole. But the sister who would have helped her find a legitimate way. The person who would have celebrated her wedding if she'd just asked honestly. She'd wanted to write my story, where my property became her solution, my assets became her opportunity, my boundaries became suggestions. Instead, I directed hers. And cut her from the final edit. The cottage is mine. The mortgage is mine. The deck, the windows, the salt-weathered wood, all mine. I watched the sun drop toward the water, painting everything gold. In the distance, a family walked the beach. Children ran toward waves, parents followed at a leisurely pace. They were staying 3 houses down. Legitimate rental, legal transaction, honest vacation. I lifted my whiskey glass toward them, a silent toast to strangers who'd never know their role in my emancipation. The ocean rolled in, constant and clean. I was finally home.